Hello, and welcome back to another edition of the New Starters Perspective series. This is where I get a chance to speak to those who have recently joined Veramed to find out what their first 6 months have been like. So today's guest is Alex Watson. Alex, welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to the podcast, I should say.
Yeah, hi. Thank you.
Fun fact, Alex is my first returning guest. He first appeared on our neurodiversity episode, which you can all still listen to on your podcasting platforms. Yeah, Alex is back. Why don't you tell people what your role is here at Veramed and how you found your first 6 months?
Yeah, sure. So I've joined as a senior programmer one, and I joined, a little over 6 months back now. As for my first 6 months, the first thing I can really say is they really live up to, Veramed really live up to the impression that they first gave me during the interviews and things like that. Like the level of care and attention they give towards each employee does really show. Like a lot of companies might push that and say that they try and do it, but Veramed really does. It's really nice to feel genuinely valued within my role for the skills that I have and not just seen as another programmer without a face. That side really does show a lot. Like how my partner's commented quite a few times since I joined that I just seem a lot more happy and relaxed around the flat as well. Like I'm back to loving programming again, which is really nice. So no, it's been great. One thing I did want to mention as well is how flat that like hierarchy feels. Like, that idea of being able to talk to higher up people, which again is something that most companies will sell themselves on, but with Veramed it feels completely different. Like maybe it's a specific thing because it's something that I'm personally involved with, but to be able to talk to someone about the macros and the standards and the ways that the more background ways that the company works and have actual change implemented within a reasonable timescale, or the fact that the CEO has calls with new joiners, which is unheard of, at least from my eyes, it really shows how much they care. So it's been good.
No, excellent. You're not the first person to say any of these things. So I'm glad you also had the same experience as everybody else. Because the flat structure is something that Veramed do pride themselves on. I'm based in the office in Twickenham, so I can just talk to Matt, Emma, like any of the board members, anyone, just at any time. So the fact that you're home based and you still feel that, I think it's excellent. Mm-hmm. And another sort of peek behind the curtains, myself and Alex have worked on the same study together for a number of months now. So I can test it. I am here also, like Alex has made a lot of suggestions in some of our internal macros and our QC trackers and things like this, and they've been rolled out very quickly as well after your suggestions. So excellent. I mentioned that you're home based. So how are you finding working from home?
Great. Prior to this role as well, I've always felt it easier to be focused while at home, and I don't have issues with feeling like I need to be in a office for that. But Veramed in particular, they do make a real effort to, how would I phrase this? To make remote workers feel more connected, I guess. Things like emphasizing having the cameras on in meetings, the daily stand-up calls, the fact they do virtual socials and things like that. Like they're all little parts of the package, but they all add up to making you feel like you're a part of the company and the culture. It doesn't just feel like you're a contractor or working at home. It's not truly a part of the, the company as a whole. So I don't feel isolated, which I have done at times with other remote working things after a long stretch of work. So no, it's been great. No issues.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. And how did you sort of find the recruitment process itself?
Those few months are definitely more of a bit of a whirlwind for me with all of the applications and things going on. I guess some of it I've probably touched on in talking about my first 6 months, but I do remember the standout thing and the reason I ended up joining was Veramed just gave me such a good impression. Like even from when I first applied, them being very prompt and very helpful with their emails and answering questions. And then during the interview itself, the Veramed's culture, most of the things I've already talked about, really came through with the questions they were asking, the things they care, the things that they cared about, the the emphasis on mental health and crafting job roles around the people really shone through. Like the programmer types that they have on their website as well was something that I'd never seen before. But the fact that they appreciate that each programmer is different, again, is a really big thing, and I was really impressed by that. It's a small like dumb thing, but I do remember during the interview as well, like feeling a lot more relaxed generally, just because I felt more, I guess, at home and could just be myself. I do remember towards the end, like I mentioned on my CV that I was really into board games, and then the person interviewing me had like a 5-minute chat on that purely because they really liked it as well, and saying that a lot of other people in the company did, and things which obviously for programmers makes sense. But I was like, oh wow, I found my people, found the geeks that I enjoy working with. So it was a small thing, but it was nice to have that casual conversation about something that I loved. So
yeah, definitely, and it kind of gives you more of a true reflection of what the company's like. It's not the over corporate, like, let's just talk business. It's like, what do you like to do? Like, and get a feel of your personality and how you would fit in. So I'm glad you had such a positive experience. We mentioned at the start of the episode that you also appeared in our neurodiversity episode. And we have a neurodiversity group here. So how was that joining the group itself, and like knowing that we had this group already? Like, was that one of the reasons that you enjoy working here?
I mean, short answer, definitely it was great. I mean, I'm probably going to be touching on a lot of similar things as the last podcast. But in general, no, it's really refreshing to have a group for that. I found that originally through my line manager, because one of their other reports was in the group too, and I was shocked that it was even a thing. Like, having a group around diversity and inclusion and culture, that in itself isn't exactly a new thing. Most companies will have something similar, but to have a focus on neurodiversity within that, and a group who are really working to push it and to spread awareness, was really great. I mean, as I talked about on the other podcast, just to plug it real quick, it's always had quite a big impact on my life, both with me and with the people around me. So it does mean quite a lot to me. So to have such a drive for it, like the first all-staff meeting that I joined, I know it was good timing, but the first one I joined had a session, update from the neurodiversity group about what they were trying to do, and also a Coders Corner thing about some autumn challenge that they were doing. Both those things really, again, hit on that culture of caring and enjoying your job, and it really let me know I joined the right company. I don't know if I've answered the question there, but no, it is great to have the group, and I feel like we really are making a difference, and starting to implement that change. So
excellent. Well, I'm glad you've had such a positive experience. And thank you for joining me again on this podcast. It's really great having you back. Usually at the end of these, I'll be like, I'll get you back for a longer episode, but I've already done one. So if you'd like to listen to more of Alex and his story, please check out our neurodiversity episode. It's a really good listen, where Alex sits down with 2 other members of our neurodiversity group, and they share their experiences and what the group's about. And it's just a really good, informative listen. So thanks again, Alex, for joining me here.
No worries. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you all very much for listening. If you'd like to be notified for any future episodes, please subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, or whichever podcast platform you're using. If you'd like to know more about Veramed, please visit our website at veramed.co.uk, or you can find us on LinkedIn. If you have any questions about Veramed, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to help. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at We Are Veramed. Thank you all very much for listening, and until next time, goodbye.